Starting this broadcast with some breaking news that's coming in. AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi's big Twitter taunt against the centre. Slams the Modi government over new chairman of Law Commission of India. Says Modi government appointed a new chairman of Law Commission of India. His judgment misrepresented translation of Quranic verses, compared schools to army camps or prisons, and upheld the hijab ban. Another member of LCI propounded theory of Love Jihad. These meritorious jurists are going to consider feasibility of uniform civil code. We can infer their impartiality and competence. This is the breaking news coming in, joined by my colleague Pallavi Ghosh, our senior editor, on the phone line. Very good morning to you, Pallavi. Did he expand on his statement, and could you elaborate on this jibe that's coming in from Owaisi, please?
So, Shilpa, this is after 4 years a law commissioner has been appointed, and he plays a very, very important role because they are the one who gives inputs to the law ministry, and also they decide very often the new policies of the government. Now, over here, the allegation, insinuation coming in from Owaisi is very simple, and I think it's very clear and sweet, is that you picked up a Karnataka High Court judge. You made him a law commissioner because he was also the person who upheld the ban on use of jihad in schools, and therefore you are deliberately picking those jurists who you know will give you a favorable input as far as the contentious policies and judgments of the government is concerned. And over here, of course, specifically is about uniform civil code. Now, if you remember, many state governments, especially those ruled by the BJP, whether it's Uttarakhand, whether it's Himachal Pradesh, all of them are talking about bringing in the UCC or the Uniform Civil Code, to which the minority community certainly has been against which even Owaisi has been, saying it's an imposition on the rights and the culture and the religious beliefs of the minority community.
Pallavi, but the BJP has included the UCC in a big part in their manifestos. It looks like they are very serious about implementing it, but looks like Owaisi's pushback and other communities are going to continue to rebel and revolt against it.
Well, not just Owaisi. I mean, if you remember the former Home Minister, Finance Minister, Mr. Chidambaram, who himself is a very senior advocate, tweeted recently to say the government is misleading, the BJP is misleading the voters, because at the end of the day, your UCC will have to go through Parliament, and whether it's going to clear in Parliament, particularly in Rajya Sabha, where, the other political parties in the opposition spectrum still do have the numbers. Clearly, UCC is going to be used as a political weapon of divang in the middle of elections. That's the allegation which is coming in from Owaisi, from the Congress party. And according to them, the BJP only announces this because they want to divide the society on religious lines. Just a very quick take, Shilpa, right in the middle of the Himachal campaign, Mr. J.P. Nadda, the BJP president, had promised that if the BJP comes to power, Uniform Civil Code will become a reality in the state.
Well, yes, indeed, Pallavi, as you're bringing it could very well be imminent. And Owaisi there hitting out against the appointment of the law commissioner with reference to former Chief Justice of the Karnataka High Court, that is R.R. Awasthi. Do we expect the centre to respond in any manner to this?
See, Centre has consistently made the point that we have never ever interfered in the judgment. Everyone has a right to wear the hijab. But the point is that this is now a legal decision. But more importantly, there are uniforms in place. Students have to follow the school protocol. I mean, the counter which came in from the BJP leaders also is that how would you like it if a young girl wears a veil inside the school? Will you then allow that to happen? No, you shouldn't, because they are school uniforms. You practice your religious beliefs. But, these are very emotive, tricky issues. Both the sides feel very strongly about it. And therefore, I think it will always snowball. And we are heading very close to Lok Sabha elections in 2024. And I think it's going to stir up the political pot.
Thank you very much for joining us, Pallavi. That's Pallavi Ghosh. They're bringing us some very important political perspective. Now, the tussle between conman Sukesh Chandrasekhar and the Kejriwal-led AAP government has only intensified. A fifth letter was written by Sukesh Chandrasekhar to the LG of Delhi, VK Saxena. Sukesh has requested the LG to transfer himself and his wife out of Delhi jail to any other jail in the country. He claims that there is constant threat and pressure being made to retract his statements simultaneously. Sukesh's wife, who is lodged in the Mandoli jail, is also being pressurized to withdraw the complaint, is his allegation. Sukesh's wife is allegedly abused by the senior jail officials, and Sukesh is pressurized to withdraw the complaint. Now, these are some very serious allegations coming in from Sukesh Chandrasekhar. This is the 5th letter that is being sent by him, alleging mistreatment in the jail. He's saying he's being harassed, and these are the continuous appeals coming in from Sukesh Chandrasekhar, and he says wife is also being ill-treated by jail officials. Joined by my colleague Shankar Anand on the phone line. Very good morning to you, Shankar. इस लेटर के बारे में और क्या जानकारी आ रही है, और आप गवर्नमेंट ने कंसिस्टेंटली मेंटेन किया है कि ये बीजेपी की साजिश है और कि उनको इस केस में कोई लेना देना नहीं है?
निश्चित तौर पर देखिए, इस मामले पर जिस तरह से आम आदमी पार्टी के द्वारा या उनके नेताओं के द्वारा जिस तरह से इस मामले पर अब राजनीतिक बयानबाजी भी हो रही है, तो ये होना लाजमी है, क्योंकि आम आदमी पार्टी के द्वारा लगातार जिस तरह से बाकायदा देखा जा रहा है या ऑब्जर्व किया जा रहा है कि सुकेश चंद्रशेखर का ये जो 5वां खत है, इस 5वें खत में भी जिस तरह से आम आदमी पार्टी को टारगेट किया गया, और विशेष तौर पर कि दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल, उसके बाद काफी सीनियर लेवल के जो मंत्री रहे, कैलाश गहलोत हैं या सत्येंद्र जैन की बात करें, तो जिस तरह से सुकेश चंद्रशेखर जेल में रहने के बावजूद जिस तरह से अपने वकील के मार्फत लगातार कई आरोप लगा रहा है, काफी गंभीर आरोप जिस तरह से आम आदमी पार्टी के इन तमाम वरिष्ठ नेताओं पर लगा रहा है, तो कहीं न कहीं ये मामला भी काफी गंभीर है। और इन तमाम मामलों की गंभीरता को देखते हुए सुकेश चंद्रशेखर जो दिल्ली के मंडोली जेल में कैद है, यहाँ तक कि उसकी पत्नी और जो लीना है वो भी एक बॉलीवुड फिल्म अभिनेत्री रही है, वो भी मंडोली जेल में कैद है। तो लगातार सुकेश चंद्रशेखर के द्वारा जिस तरह से एक लेटर अपने वकील के माध्यम से भेज करके आरोप लगाया जा रहा है, आरोप की गंभीरता को देखते हुए निश्चित तौर पर एलजी भी आगे इस मामले की को संज्ञान में ले सकते हैं। और जिस तरह से आरोप लगाया जा रहा है कि जेल के अंदर किस तरह से एक वसूली गैंग चलता है, ये आरोप सुकेश चंद्रशेखर का है। और कहा जा सकता है कि सुकेश चंद्रशेखर इसमें आरोप ये लगा रहा है कि राजनीतिक दबाव की वजह से इस तरह के वसूली जो है वो होती है, लेकिन इस मामले की सत्यता क्या है, इसके कितना ये सही आरोप है, इन तमाम मामलों पर अभी आगे एजेंसी काम कर रही है। और जिस तरह से अगर बात करें दिल्ली पुलिस की बात करें, दिल्ली पुलिस भी इस मामले में तफ्तीश कर रही है, तो दूसरी तरफ देखा जाए केंद्रीय जांच एजेंसी ईडी भी इस मामले की तफ्तीश कर रही है। लेकिन इससे पहले वाले लेटर की अगर बात करें तो सुकेश चंद्रशेखर ने कहा था कि इस मामले की तफ्तीश यानी इन्वेस्टिगेशन सीबीआई से होनी चाहिए, और सीबीआई से इस मामले को तमाम वो गवाह या अपना बयान जो है देने के लिए तैयार है। और अभी का जो खत है, जो लेटेस्ट 5वां खत है, इसमें सुकेश चंद्रशेखर ने कहा है कि वो उसको खुद को और उसकी पत्नी को दिल्ली के बाहर किसी अन्य जेल में ट्रांसफर किया जाए, क्योंकि उनको जेल के अंदर में डर है। तो एक तरह से कहा जा सकता है कि सुकेश चंद्रशेखर और उसकी पत्नी जो है लीना, जो जेल पर मंडोली जेल में कैद है, तो उन दोनों को दूसरे राज्य में ट्रांसफर करने की अपील की गई है। तो इसके साथ साथ उसी खत में कई तरह के और भी कहा जा सकता है आरोप जो है वो सुकेश चंद्रशेखर के द्वारा लगाया जा रहा है। इसके साथ ही 31 अगस्त को सुकेश चंद्रशेखर के साथ जो जेल के अंदर मारपीट होने का भी जिक्र किया गया है, और इस लेटर के माध्यम से भी एलजी को जानकारी दी गई है। और इस मामले में उसके वकील लगातार सुकेश के साथ में संपर्क में है, और सुकेश का जो खत है वो एलजी हाउस में भी लगातार भेजा जा रहा है। इसके साथ ही जिस तरह से देखा जाए कि सुकेश चंद्रशेखर अपने हाथ से जो हैंड रिटन चिट्ठी जो है वो भेज रहा है, अपने वकील के पास भेज रहा है। और इस वाला जो खत है, जो 5वां खत है, वो प्रेसिडेंट हाउस, प्राइम मिनिस्टर हाउस और होम मिनिस्टर जो है उनके दफ्तर में, चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया, वहां भी भेजा जा रहा है। तो एक तरह से कहा जा सकता है कि सुकेश चंद्रशेखर जिस तरह से काफी गंभीर आरोप लगाते हुए अपने हाथ से खत लिख रहा है, और इन मामलों की जानकारी अपने वकील के माध्यम से इन तमाम अधिकारियों को भी भेजा जा रहा है। जी,
Thank you very much, Shankar, for bringing us those details. Very grave accusations coming in there from Sukesh Chandrasekhar. Now, defending exclusion of Dalits who have converted to Christian and Islam on the list of scheduled caste, Central government has told the Supreme Court that concerned religions, Christianity and Islam, are historically foreign religions and thereby do not recognize the caste system as done in Hinduism. Referring to the dissent note of the report of the National Commission for Religious and Linguistic Minorities, the centre in a 70-page affidavit has also said that people belonging to these religious faiths came from foreign lands to India along with traders, invaders, preachers, missionaries over a period of time spanning hundreds of years before firmly establishing themselves as more and more indigenous people converted from their religion to Islam or Christianity. Alright, so this is defending the exclusion of Dalits who have converted to Christianity or to Islam. Joined by my colleague, our legal correspondent, Ananya Bhatnagar, who brings us more details. Ananya, what more does that affidavit say? And could you elaborate on the statement coming in from the government, please?
Well, definitely. First, we'll have to understand under what context actually has this response been filed. So this response has been filed in a batch of tweets that had argued the exclusion of Christians and Muslim Dalits from the list of scheduled castes and discrimination. They had alleged that it's a discrimination that the Muslims and the Christians, Dalit Christians are actually being excluded from the scheduled caste, and that's the reason why a batch of petitions will come to the Supreme Court. Now, what has happened at this moment of time is that the central government has said that because Christianity and Islam both are foreign religions, both came from through missionaries, through people who invaded India, who came from foreign land. There were no places for untouchability. There was no caste system involved there, and that's the reason why there has been a scheduled caste. There has been exclusion of these people from the scheduled caste. Now, interestingly, the affidavit on the 15th page contradicts itself, wherein it shows that even there have been cases in time wherein it shows that untouchability and other problems also remained in Christianity and Islam as well. So it's a double jeopardy stand of the central government that is coming into this particular matter. But what is very, very clear at this point of time is that centre has categorically defended, in fact, the exclusion of the Dalit Christians and Dalit Muslims before the topmost court of the country. Shilpa.
Well, Ananya, as you're saying, there are Dalit Christians and there are Dalit Muslims. There is untouchability practiced in some regions of the country as well. Could you take us through? Okay. Actually, we are also joined by a very eminent lawyer of the NCP, Majid Memon, on the phone. A very good morning to you, sir. Sir, this statement that's coming in from the centre saying that these people have converted to Islam and to Christianity and these are religions that come in from foreign lands. What is the legal heft when it comes to the arguments on both sides?
So I think the stand of centre that Christianity and Islam are not the local religions, they are the foreign religions, is absolutely a misplaced statement, because when the constitution came into form and the constitution was brought into force in 1950, since then the constitution upholds the equality among all Indian citizens belonging to all religions. And Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, Parsis, Sikhism, there cannot be any religious discrimination, which is what is the in the basic structure of the constitution. And therefore, the centre's approach that any particular religion being called, or for example, you may say that Parsis are not native. You see, they invaded. And they cannot be recognized on par with Hindus who are the original Indians. That is what centre proposes to say. I think this stand of centre is not tenable under the constitutional mandate.
So you're saying legally it is not in sync with what our constitution says, sir. And also, if we talk about the Christian and Muslim Dalits, it's not just a history of oppression that the Dalit castes have faced. It is still continual. The oppression and discrimination still continues in many regions. And there are many who've highlighted the fact that their exclusion is absolutely unfair and unconstitutional. How do you view it?
So the Supreme Court is the best forum which would examine the argument of the center to isolate two religions being foreign religions, and therefore they would be excluded from other religions. I think this is not going to be accepted by Supreme Court. Let us wait as to how Supreme Court examines this particular contention of center and what is the stand of Supreme Court. We'll have to await that.
Sir, but after the okay, all right. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us on this broadcast this morning. I appreciate your time. But we do have to move our attention to the battle for Gujarat. BJP to release its first list of Gujarat candidates today. Names of about 100 candidates will be announced in the first list. Bhupendra Yadav and C.R. Patil likely to hold a press conference around 10 a.m. Former Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani and Deputy Chief Minister Nitin Patel expressed their desire not to contest the elections. Letter to the state president. So this is the latest that we're getting in. Yesterday that we told you about some people who are going to be receiving tickets, which included Hardik Patel, and today the BJP will be announcing those list of candidates. The battle for Gujarat, they're heating up. The Prime Minister actively campaigning in Gujarat, and today the BJP will be releasing its first list of candidates. It looks like it is going to be a triangular fight for Gujarat for the first time. So far, it has been a bipolar fight. The BJP there defending its 27 years of incumbent rule. It is going to be a hotly watched election as well, but a three-cornered fight which has evolved from the traditional bipolar fight. And the BJP will be fielding 100 candidates and their names to be announced at 10 a.m. today. The party there, while bolstered by the presence of Amit Shah and PM Modi, who hail from the state and are actively campaigning there, and the double-engine Sarkar working overtime in Gujarat, the BJP there will be releasing those names and will be keeping a very close eye. And now we're getting information that ex-Chief Minister Vijay Rupani will not be contesting, and neither will the Deputy CM Nitin Patel. They've expressed their desire to not contest the elections, and that is what they've said in a letter to the state president. This press conference will be held to announce the 100 candidates, and Bhupendra Yadav and C.R. Patil will likely be holding this press conference at around 10 a.m. So we'll be bringing you those details at 10 a.m. from that key briefing. All right, now Jacqueline Fernandez will be in court today. She'll appear before the Patiala House Court, where the court will consider her bail plea that was pending in the 200 crore rupee extortion case featuring alleged conman Sukesh Chandrasekhar. The court will also consider her response, filed by the Enforcement Directorate in this matter. ED in its reply opposing the regular bail plea of Jacqueline had stated that she never cooperated with the investigation and only made the disclosure when confronted with evidence. Remember, just a few days ago, Sukesh in his letter to the Delhi LG claimed that Jacqueline had no involvement in the alleged scam. So Jacqueline has continually maintained that she is also a victim in this scam, and today she will be contesting that, she will be pushing that bail plea. Her bail plea is pending and she'll be appearing in the Patiala court today at about 10:30 or about 11 a.m. this morning. The ED there alleging that she in fact tried to flee the country and did not cooperate. We're joined by my colleague Ananya Bhatnagar, our legal correspondent. Ananya, the stand of ED when it comes to Jacqueline has been very categorical. They've said she has not cooperated, in fact that she tried to flee, and that she was only forthcoming with the details when pushed and when painted into a corner.
Well, definitely. In fact, Shilpa, first of all, a very good morning to you and our viewers. But what is very, very clear at this moment of time is that Jacqueline Fernandez is going to appear before the court today. Her The reply to a bail application has already been filed, and the Enforcement Directorate in its response has categorically said that she had made attempts to actually flee the country. In fact, it is also said that she had made an attempt to flee the country, but due to the issuance of a LOC, that is a lookout circular, that could not be possible, and she could be stopped. Apart from that, what has also been said by the Enforcement Directorate in its response before Delhi's Patiala House Court is that she knew about Sukesh Chandrasekhar only 10 days after meeting him. She knew all about his criminal antecedents. She was told by her makeup artist and others about who Sukesh Chandrasekhar is, what is his role, and how he dupes people. So she was very, very well aware. And remember that this was the main charge why there was a supplementary charge sheet coming in from the Enforcement Directorate into this particular case. And in fact, Jacqueline Fernandez was made an accused into this particular case. The ED in its charge sheet, remember, had categorically said, and that line I quoted from the charge sheet itself, is that in the lure of money, Jacqueline actually forgot who Sukesh Chandrasekhar was, and nobody stopped her also because her family and relatives were also enjoying the benefits of the proceeds of crime that were there. So a very, very important hearing today before Delhi's Patiala House Court. Jacqueline would be appearing before the court, as her sources had told her. Her legal team would be landing in the national capital very, very soon, and they would be coming to the Delhi's Patiala House Court, where the hearing would start in this matter, and we might see that a conclusion is reached on the bail application. However, that is pretty unlikely because the arguments have not even begun into this particular case, and if both the sides submit the submission, it might take some time, and that's the reason why 1 or 2 days would be required in order to complete these arguments. But if at all the submission are lent short, then we can see that in fact the conclusion to this bail application might be reached. Shilpa.
Thank you, Ananya, for joining us with those details. While the ED maintains it was a lure of money, Jacqueline has always maintained that it was only purely out of love that she was associated with Sukesh Chandrasekhar. On that note, I'm taking a